Hey everyone, welcome back to Curtis's Corner. If you're new here, hi, thanks for stopping by. And if you've been here before, welcome back. You're officially stuck with me now. We talk movies, we laugh, we cry, and sometimes we scream. And honestly, it's chaos in the best way. Now this week, we are diving into The Conjuring Last Rites. But before we get spooky, make sure you check out last week's review on House on Eden, because that one was wild. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss what's coming next. And real quick, I gotta talk about something close to my heart. I am competing to be the next face of Halloween, which supports Starlight Children's Foundation. They bring joy to seriously ill kids and their families with toys, hospital wear, and gaming. You can cast a free daily vote for me or donate for extra votes. Winning would mean meeting horror legends like Kane Hodder, who played Jason Voorhees, Jamie Lee Curtis, Laurie Strode, and Matthew Lillard or Stu Macher from Scream. Literal icons. So if you want to help me chase that dream and help kids at the same time, the link is in the description below. And if you want even more chaos, my Patreon is open with early access, unedited content, and a say in future videos. And yes, I went to Comic-Con. That's why I have this. All right, let's conjure up this review. The Conjuring Last Rites is the 9th and final main entry in the Conjuring universe. Directed by Michael Chavez, produced by James Wan and Peter Safran, it follows Ed and Lorraine Warren as they investigate the infamous Smurl haunting. Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga return as the Warrens, with Mia Tomlinson playing their daughter Judy, and Ben Harding joining the cast as Tony. The story is based on real events from the 70s and 80s in Pennsylvania, where the Smurl family claimed that their home was infested by multiple demonic forces. Now this film is set in 1986, and it's meant to be the Warrens' most disturbing case yet. Now before I get into the nitty-gritty, I just have to say this. This is it. The last main Conjuring film in the extended universe. This franchise quickly became one of my favorites, and knowing this is the final file feels bittersweet. We've spent over a decade with the Warrens, and now the book is closing. It's a little sad to see it end. And while this is a small personal nitpick, I have to mention it. James Wan didn't come back to direct the finale. He created these characters, he shaped the tone, and even though he's been a producer the whole way through, part of me wishes he had been the one to finish what he had started. It would have been a full circle moment. It's not a deal breaker, just something that lingered in the back of my mind while watching. Alright, now, right from the start, this film pulls you in. That opening flashback is everything. Emotional, raw, and it gives you this beautifully tragic glimpse into who Ed and Lorraine are at their core. It's the kind of scene that makes you tear up before the title even hits. My only gripe early on is how Judy gets aged up so fast. We've seen her in 3 different Conjuring films, each time at different stages of her life. So there's already history there. But here it feels like the film hits fast forward just to plop her into 1986. Instead of giving us a chance to sit with who Judy has become, we just skip the in-between. And that matters because she's the Warrens' daughter. She's grown up in a house surrounded by exorcisms, cursed objects, and a mom who literally sees visions of death. That's a childhood you don't walk away from without scars. The movie hints at that trauma, but never really lets us live in it. It's like they laid out a buffet of character growth and then gave us one breadstick. Still tasty, but not filling. The Smurl case itself is creepy, don't get me wrong, but the setup is classic Conjuring. Family moves into their dream home, nightmare comes free with the purchase, but the Smurl family as the characters? Flat. Their personalities basically boil down to, we're a big family, we're loud, we argue, and now we're scared. That's it. There's none of those intimate little moments that made the parents in Conjuring 1 or the Hodgsons in Conjuring 2 feel real. Remember the Hodgsons playing in their cramped London home? Or Janet talking about wanting a normal life? Those details made the hauntings hit harder. Here, the Smurls are treated like set dressing for the scares. And with 8 family members on top of the Warrens and Tony, the film tries to juggle too many balls at once and ends up dropping most of them. It reminded me of The Conjuring 3, also directed by Chavez, where the family wasn't the focus at all and got completely sidelined. Except this time, they're supposed to be front and center. It's a spooky wallpaper instead of a beating heart. But where the Smurls don't quite land, the Warrens carry the weight. Ed is still dealing with the health problems teased in Conjuring 3, and watching him push through those to help this family is powerful. You know logically that he survives, considering he lived until 2006, but the way Patrick Wilson plays him makes you second guess. Every heavy breath, every stagger, every time he pushes his body too far, you feel that tension. He's a man breaking himself to protect others, and Wilson nails that vulnerability. Lorraine, meanwhile, gets absolutely wrecked in this one. Not just spiritually or emotionally, but physically too. This demon doesn't play. She is dragged, slammed, and tested in ways that make you wince. But Vera Farmiga is on another level. The way she shows fear without ever letting Lorraine break, it's goosebump worthy. She channels grief, terror, and love in equal measure, and you buy every second. You walk away reminded that Lorraine isn't just the heart of this franchise, Vera Farmiga is. And then there's Judy. Mia Tomlinson takes over the role, and honestly, the resemblance to Zooey Deschanel is uncanny. It's the big doe eyes, the blunt bangs. It's almost distracting at first, but once you get past the visual, she makes Judy her own. You see the trauma bubbling under the surface, the strain of being a Warren in a world that doesn't understand what her parents do. She's haunted not just by demons, but by her family's legacy, and Mia brings that across in a way that feels lived in and not forced. And then you've got Ben Hardy as Tony. He's honestly such a smart addition to the cast. Early on, the movie plays with your expectations of him. Like you're not sure if he's going to click with the Warrens' world, but he does. And actually in a big way. He's charming without being smarmy, steady without being boring, and he never feels overshadowed even when standing next to heavy hitters like Wilson and Farmiga. He adds the spark of humanity that balances out all the chaos, and by the end, you're glad he's there. Now, let's talk about the demons, because what's a Conjuring movie without things lurking in the dark? The standout here is without a doubt the farmer demon. Towering figure with long, black stringy hair. He is terrifying in the most classic horror way. He's not just jump scares and quick flashes, he lingers. His presence is felt even when he's not on screen. You hear a creak, you catch a shadow, and suddenly your body tenses because you know he's there. And when he does appear, he is just as unsettling in the daylight as he is in the shadows. That is rare. Most horror creatures lose their power when the lights come on, but not him. He carries that same menace in every frame, and it makes every encounter with him unpredictable. You never feel safe when he's around. And then there's the white-haired demon, the one from the trailer that had people clowning online about how fake she looked. And yeah, in the movie she's definitely better integrated into the scene than what the ads showed us. The peeking behind the doll moment works way better in context. But the problem is the CGI. It feels like the kind of digital touch-up you do when you're cutting corners on the budget. The permanent grin effect, the digital tweaks on her face, they strip away that gritty realism that makes Conjuring scares so effective. Horror thrives on things that feel tangible, and here it feels like you're watching a filter slapped over an actress. It takes you out of the moment, which is a shame because the idea of her is chilling. And the frustrating part is that the story hints at even more demons infesting this case, but we barely see them. You might get quick flashes, a suggestion of something bigger, but it never builds into the all-out demonic onslaught you expect. It's like queuing up for a fireworks show and they only have 2 sparklers. Imagine how wild it could have been if all those forces collided instead of just teasing us. Now, the effects in general lean a little too hard into digital, and that kind of hurts the atmosphere. The fire sequences in particular are a bit distracting. Your eye immediately clocks the difference between real practical fire and CGI fire dropped in during post. Then when your brain notices that, the scare factor drops. Practical effects have always been a part of what made this franchise feel raw and grounded. So going the digital route feels like a missed opportunity. It's not unwatchable, but it does pull you out a bit. And then there's the send-off. This is where the film really hits the emotional core. Now, without giving anything away, it feels like the curtain call of a long-running play where everyone comes back on stage one last time. The cameos that appear aren't just cheap fan service. They feel like intentional nods to the journey we've been on since 2013. It's the kind of moment that makes you smile through teary eyes, because it reminds you of how far these characters have come and how much they have meant to horror fans. Ed and Lorraine's goodbye in particular is handled with care. It doesn't feel rushed, it doesn't feel forced, it feels earned. These two have been through hell across 9 films. And to see them honored properly at the end gives the whole franchise a sense of closure. You walk out feeling like the Warrens got the ending they deserved, and we as fans got the goodbye we needed. It's bittersweet, yes, but it's also warm. It leaves you with chills, but in the best way. Like the lights are turning off in a theater you've loved going to for years. And that's what makes The Last Rites work as a finale. It doesn't just end the story, it celebrates it. So, where do I land on this? I'm going to be giving The Conjuring Last Rites an A-. And here's why. The film's highs are seriously high. That flashback opener was stunning. Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga remind us why the Warrens became horror icons. The scares may not reinvent the wheel, but they keep you jumping. The main demon design hits hard, and the send-off ties a bow on the franchise in a way that feels earned. Judy and Tony also being a breath of fresh air to the story. But there are cracks. Judy's quick aging does feel lazy. The Smurl family is underwritten and never as compelling as past Conjuring families. The CGI, especially that white-haired demon in the fire, pulls you out of the moment. And for a case advertised as packed with demons, it is a shame we only see a few really developed. But still, when you weigh it all out, the film delivers what a finale should. It honors the characters, gives fans closure, and leaves you with chills, and maybe even a tear or two. It's not perfect, but a send-off worthy of the Warrens. So, that's The Conjuring Last Rites. The Warrens have closed their case files, and I've closed mine. But if you liked hanging out with me today, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss what's coming next here on Curtis's Corner. We do spooky, we do silly, and sometimes we do both at once. If you want even more chaos, again, join me over on Patreon. That is where you'll find uncut content, early access, and even the chance to help decide what films I review in the future. Basically, you get to be part of the seance behind the scenes. And before I crawl back into my coffin for the night, here's your reminder. Cast your free daily vote for me in the face of Halloween competition. And if you decide to pay for extra votes, again, that money goes straight to Starlight Children's Foundation, helping bring joy to kids and families who really need it. The link is in the description below, and every single vote gets me closer to the win, and it honestly would mean the world. Thank you for spending some time with me today. Until next time, keep the lights on, and I'll see you soon.